Hello! What's happening out there in the podcast of fear, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to the 289th episode of the Crash Bang Boom podcast. Today's guest is Welsh drummer Michael Moose Thomas of Kill the Lights, and formerly of Bullet for My Valentine. Michael and I got to talk about the upcoming Kill the Lights album due out March 8th, as well as revisiting some of the Bullet for My Valentine records and where they were recorded, as well as some of the pretty insane tours they got opening for massive bands around that same time. And, toasted coconuts in Thailand. I usually try to interject some foodie reference in as many episodes as possible, Today's episode is sponsored by OneUpLoops.com. Drummer Carson Gain and his team spend an incredible amount of time recording over 450,000 shaker, tambourine, and hi-hat loops at every possible tempo in multiple fields with incredible mics and outboard gear for you to pick and choose. It's organized for you to find exactly what you need with just a few clicks, and everything feels and sounds incredible. You can sign up for free to check it out and gain full access to all 450,000 loops starting at just $6 a month. No download limits, whatever you want, whenever you want. New loops, one-shots, and drum breaks are being added weekly. Definitely a great addition to the arsenal of any drummer and or producer, and I can vouch for it myself, having used it. Check it out at OneUpLoops.com. Crash Bang Boom Podcast can be found where all podcasts are found, including Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and more. If you like what you hear, please check out any of the previous 280-plus episodes, and you can give me a like and or a subscription or even a positive review, as I would appreciate it. All right, here we go. Michael Moose Thomas, Kill the Lights, Crash, Bang, Boom.
Crowds go mad with joy.
All right, I'm here with Michael Moose Thomas of Kill the Lights, formerly of Bullet for My Valentine. What's up, my fellow Welsh drummer? I might have a little Welsh in me. A lot of Americans probably claim this, It's like Scotch, Irish, English, Welsh. I've got, I'm a good one-third, a combination of all of those.
Okay, where about in Wales?
That I don't know. This is just, one of those ancestry websites or whatever, and it's a lot of... that whole Scotch, Irish, Welsh, England kind of area. My last name's Smith, and then, a bunch of like Spain and France, so like other Western Europe, Iberian coast, or any of that stuff. I'm basically a mutt. I really can't claim shit, man.
We're all mutts.
Oh, man. Well, how's it going, dude? You're about 5 hours ahead of me. It's always interesting when I can catch up with people in the UK or in Europe. So thanks for showing up. But I guess let's start with Kill the Lights is the new band. Y'all have a new record coming out, Death Melodies. Where are the other members of this band? Because I believe you and is there one other Welsh bandmate, and then you've got some people in the States. Where is everybody?
Yeah, so it's myself and Jay, who's the original bass player in Bullet. So
Okay.
we're here in Wales, and then the other three. There's one in Grand Rapids, Michigan. There's one in Dallas, Texas, and there's one in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Wow. So needless to say, y'all have got your file sharing and demoing aspects down pretty well, given the geographical differences, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but we do prefer to write in the same room together.
Right.
But obviously that's very expensive, so we do both.
Gotcha. And this is a relatively new band, correct?
It is, yeah. I left Bullet officially I left in 2017. So in 2018, I started Kill the Lights.
Wow. How did you all meet the other members that are all in the States? How did that even happen?
Well, when I was like wanting to put a new band together, I knew that I didn't want to be in a band with a stranger because I might not like them and they might not like me. And then, it would have been dead in the water
Right.
straight away.
Yeah.
So I was like, who do I know which are cool and I've toured with? And it was Jordan, because Bullet and Still Remains toured a lot together back in the day. And I know James from when his band opened for Bullet in 2013. So it was quite an easy pick there.
Ah, okay. I'll have to ask you more about that as well when you were doing Bullet My Valentine, sort of what was going on in that era and some of the bands you were playing with. But when it came time to, I guess, write all of this music, like you said, ideally, you'd all like to be in the same room, but that's obviously there's some logistical issues with having to do that. Did they come to Wales, or since it's only two of y'all, did y'all go to the States, and where did y'all rehearse when y'all were able to even do that?
Yeah, basically we started writing. We released the first album and then COVID hit. We were all stuck at home, and then we decided, okay, we may as well, we got all this time on our hands, let's do some file share writing.
Yep.
So we did that. A couple of songs came that way, and then Canada opened its borders to vaccinated UK and American citizens. So we all just spent, I think, 10 days together in Canada in a place called Windsor, and we wrote 80% of the new album there. Because when we're together, it just flies out, you know.
Right. When y'all went to Canada, was it cold as hell, or were y'all there in the summer?
Either spring or autumn, so it's like in between both. I can't remember what it was now.
Gotcha. Yeah, because depending on where you are in Canada, obviously it can be snowed the fuck in. It's crazy how cold it can get up there.
Yeah, there was no snow.
Okay, good. That makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And then, so I mean, if y'all were able to write about 80% of that, then it came time to record it. Were y'all able to get some scratch recordings in that process, or was it then like, okay, now we need to now go to studios or a studio and record this, or home rigs, or how did y'all piece it all together for the actual recording?
Yeah, so once all the demos were like finalized, I went to a studio in Derby, UK, Backstage Studio, which is Andy Sneap's place.
Mm-hmm.
Did all the drums there, and then the boys flew home and did all their tracking in their bedrooms.
Nice. It's amazing that that's even a possibility today. I love it, man. I've got like a good bit of stuff. I don't know how much you can see me. I've got drum sets set up with and all mic'd up and everything, so I can just come down here, hopefully or preferably when my wife is not here, so I'm not just driving her fucking insane, bashing on acoustic drum sets in the basement.
I feel you.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny, man. It looks like you've got a good little studio there yourself. Is that up in your attic?
It is at the moment, yeah. I'm in between rooms at the moment because we're renovating the house. So I really want a workshop in the garden.
Okay.
But, you know, for the time being, I'm in the attic when my wife is out drinking coffee with her friends and the kids are in school.
There you go. How many kids do you have?
2.
Yep, me too. What are their ages?
7 and 5.
Okay, yeah, I'm 3 and 5.
Yeah, it gets fun.
I'm ready for the younger one to kind of get out of this 3-year-old bracket, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, when is the album going to be released? I believe it's coming up in March. We're pretty close to it, right?
Yeah, March 8th, which is a very exciting date for us now. We can't wait.
Nice. Were y'all able to team up with any labels, even if it was just for distribution, or like what did y'all do kind of on that end for it?
Yeah, in 2019, we signed a deal with Fearless Records in LA.
Okay.
So it's going through, everything's going through Fearless at the moment, which we're really happy with.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. So that makes sense with the timeline. Because 2019 you signed, but then COVID happens, then everything gets postponed. Mm-hmm. I spoke to bands as well that had recorded a good bit before, had a whole record ready to go in 2019, said, we'll do it early, we'll put it out early 2020. Nope. Then they're holding on to it for 2 years, and then by the time it comes out, they're already over it because they feel like they recorded it ages ago. But it sounds like y'all were able to kind of write and do it closer to when the actual release date was. So, you know, when you put it out, you're not like, oh, feeling like this is some old record that you should have. I've really talked to a lot of people that were kind of stuck in a bad place with it.
Yeah, I mean, the first album, because we self-funded it in order to get a record deal, like an easier leverage to get a record deal, so the label would just really have to put it out. So we did everything ourselves.
Yeah.
We were sitting on the first album for 2 years. Yeah, because I got this year. So it's 2020 it got released.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we were sitting on it for 2 years.
Right. Wow,
and
man.
It's just like, oh, come on, put it out.
Right, exactly. Do y'all have any plans? I didn't recall if I had seen any dates. Do y'all have any dates for touring in support of it coming up or at least that y'all have even announced yet?
Yes, we just announced a UK and European run in April, and it runs through May too.
Right on. When you go back to the original or the early days of Bullet for My Valentine, was there much of a scene or any bands kind of in Wales or the broader UK area or maybe even in Europe when y'all were first starting out that you felt sort of like you were kindred spirits with, that y'all maybe played shows with, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, definitely the band Funeral for a Friend. We were around like the same time, and we're still all good friends. Like now, if they're out and we're out, it's fun. So yeah, it was we before we were Bullet, we were called a different name, and before they were Funeral, they were a different name, and we kind of like they'd play with us in our town, and then we'd play with them in their town, and then all of a sudden they got a record deal, and we were kind of like, "Where's our record deal?"
Right.
Yeah, so definitely Funeral, and the Lost Prophets were kind of already on their way by then.
Gotcha. I was looking sort of at the releases, at least the ones of which that you're on, between it looks like the Poison, Scream, Aim, Fire, Fever, Temper, and Venom. It's pretty crazy. I mean, from the looks of it, you were in that band for nearly 20 years. I mean, 18 to close to 19 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time for anyone to be in a band, man. How did that band form, for that matter, I guess?
Well, the band, well, myself and Matt that band formed in, say, about 1996.
Yeah.
So it's been like all of my life, really.
Yeah.
From school, and then we left school, went to college, and then the band kind of just, because we all knew each other, we just started jamming in college, and then we did like a talent contest for fun, and we ended up winning that. And then we thought, oh, okay, let's give this a go. So we was back and forth London for the next 4 or 5 years, and then we changed our name, and then third show and we got a record deal, which was awesome.
Damn. Wow. What age were you when you first started playing drums?
14, 15 years old. I played guitar first, but
yeah,
there was 1,001 guitar players and only one drummer, so I thought, yeah, it's best get a kit.
Probably a wise call. Yeah. Were your parents excited that you were playing the drums, and I'm assuming in the house?
I didn't tell them. I had like birthday money that they luckily gave me, and I just went out and bought drum kits.
But it was set up in their house after that, though, right?
No, I wasn't allowed to play at home. So every like Monday and Wednesday, I went to this like youth center, which was just like, I don't know, say 500 yards from my house, and just wheel all my gear up the hill.
Really? Wheeled it up,
Yeah.
Set it up, played, broke down, brought it back, and had to do that every time when you wanted to go play?
Yeah, twice a week.
Damn, dude, that's a hell of a commitment. You must have really loved playing.
Well, yeah, I just love playing metal.
Were you able to jam with your friends up there?
Yeah, that's where like early Bullet were jamming, like writing songs and stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Who were y'all digging at the time? If you're talking mid 90s, I mean, you're a few years into grunge and everything else there.
Yeah, it was just covers, really. So it was like some Metallica, which we all love, Nirvana.
Yeah.
And like all the Korn and Deftones started filtering in and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, so we just started learning covers to earn some money to play like the local bars and pubs, just to fund our London trips to try and get a record deal.
Right. That's funny, man. Have you unearthed some of those early recordings to listen to how you were sounding and the band was sounding at that time, even playing the covers?
Oh, yeah. And you could definitely tell how young I was because it's just cymbals everywhere.
Damn, I believe it. When I first got my kit, just looking at the pictures of how I had it set up alone, I mean, the toms, the heads might as well have been almost at a 90-degree angle, so my sticks were just chewing through them. My cymbals were way up high. I didn't know any better. It just, it was fun beating them, but I was like, why am I going through heads and tearing these heads out? It was just like, the whole setup, the ergonomically, everything was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember Lars Ulrich had those black A-head drumsticks. So I was like, I got to get a set of those for like Christmas or something. And they just absolutely annihilated all of my cymbals because they're like graphite. And graphite is obviously harder than the cymbals.
Right.
So I definitely went back to wood, sharpish.
That's wild, man. So you said once y'all were Bullet from a Valentine, 3 shows in, y'all got a deal?
It was roundabout, once we changed the name, we had a few names, and there was like a few labels interested, but it was weird. It was like once we changed our name to Bullet for My Valentine, and like one label was, I think it was Warner Brothers or Universal was interested, and then Sony. It was just like a feeding frenzy. It was just like, but there was blood in the water. There was just sharks in, It was crazy, yeah. And then we played a show in a venue called the Barfly in London, and they were all there, all these like big wigs, all the labels, all the majors, and I was like, holy shit.
Unbelievable, man. At a young age, I mean, if you were getting into music in your teens and everything, I'm sure that there was the dream in the back of your head that maybe you'd be able to do it. Was that moment when I guess y'all signed and started going out and playing shows? Was it kind of a mind-blowing experience to be there doing it?
Yeah, I get a lot of questions saying like, how was it? But we got pretty big really fast.
Right.
So we didn't really know any better, if you know what I mean. So we thought it was like this for every other band.
Right.
You know, so we were like, hey, you know, it's cool now, you know, and we didn't realize like there was 1,000 other bands doing like 20-hour drives through America, like taking turns and sleeping in a van. But we were like, oh yeah, we get a tour bus because we were signed to a major label and we were doing really well and stuff. We just thought that's the way it was, you know. So we were quite naive, really.
I mean, you hear all kinds of nightmarish scenarios about sort of young bands signing, and you know how that can work out in myriad ways, whether it's just like a big advancement and then ultimately you still owe all that just like you would a bank, you know, and kids blow it and then they're like, oh shit, we still owe this money and everything. How was it sort of navigating the business side? Did y'all have somebody helping y'all or looking out for y'all being kind of young and in that space?
Yeah, we like had accountants and managers and stuff, but even this is the mistake I think I made, or like I think they might still be doing it now, because only now I'm like, holy shit, you know, that band made a fucking lot of money. And
yeah,
there was no one saying, look, this is how much a tour is going to cost. This is how much a record's going to cost. And you owe the record. There was none of that. We were just like winging it. Okay, we're going to fly here and do this. Okay, cool. We were like, we didn't realize that we were the ones paying the money back, if you know what I mean.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
We were like, wow, okay, we get to go here. Way, you know, we were just happy doing it for free, really, and everyone else was getting paid. And then we were lucky enough to start earning money and getting like a monthly wage coming in and stuff. And then the money just started getting more and more and more. But then now I've left the band, I'm like, holy shit. There was a lot of money being made there, and we didn't even know how much money was being made. We never asked the question.
Right. Yeah, and that's like we're saying, I mean, that's 17, 16, at least 16 years of recording, touring, and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, now I get my like royalty statements, and I'm like, they're still making a lot of money.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's weird, man. So if any of my kids get in there, I'll be like, right, ask every question ever.
Yeah.
Where's my money going? How much do we owe and stuff, you know? So,
yeah,
definitely with Killer Lights now, I'm definitely more yes, no, 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 no.
I bet. I mean, hey, at least, you know, it sounds like there was a relatively equitable situation for you to even still be now getting royalty checks and everything else. You know, a lot of times as drummers, I feel like, you know, despite that, you know, when the band is coming up, you have all the sweat equity. A lot of the times you're splitting all the finances anyway. And then when it comes time to talk about like percentages, it seems, well, you're just the guy that plays drums anyway, despite all the everything that you put into it and everything else. And that at times, even jamming in the space to write songs, you have to consider that. So there is that kind of weird gray area. But hey, cheers to you for at least getting yourself in a good position to be able to be getting some, you know, something out of this after all these years.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what fucks me off really as well about singers. They think they deserve all the fucking money, and they don't. Because some people think they write all the songs just because they write lyrics, and it's just like, no,
right?
You don't. I mean, I was there. I wrote the songs with you, but you know, a band is a band. It should be equal. Like Killer Lights is all equal splits,
right?
You know. And that's the way it's. But certain bands are like, no, the singer or the guitar player will get it all. I'm just like, I just don't understand that at all. So, you know, I'm glad I wrote the songs I wrote with Bullet.
Absolutely. Hell yeah, man. When it came to, well, let me ask you this. I was just kind of looking at the records again, and there was one of them. Let me see, which one was it? Oh, Temper from 2013 was a record that y'all recorded. It looks like in your time with them, it was either Collard Richardson or Don Gilmore were the producers, and we can talk a little bit. I'm always interested in talking about working with producers and everything. But for Temper, it's at least on the wiki page, it says that some of it was either tracked mix or something in Thailand. Did y'all go to Thailand for that fucking record?
Yeah.
You did?
It was, yeah. It was weird. It was a weird fucking time, man. I don't know. I think this is why that record came out the way it did. I wasn't ready. I just coming back off Fever, the band's third record, which was, I think, at the band's peak.
Uh-huh.
And then, yeah, I was drinking too much. I wasn't ready to write another album. But then, label like, I need another record. So like Matt was like, look, there's this place in Thailand. It's a really good studio. It's awesome. Let's go there with no demos and just record.
Hang out and write?
Yeah, and then that's the record. I was like, this is either really intelligent or fucking stupid. So I just, we just got to go with it, haven't you? You never know what's going to come out. But then,
wow.
Yeah, looking back on it, demos are definitely the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, how was it recording and just being in Thailand? I went to Thailand about 4 years ago or so. I mean, I was in Bangkok. I know it's a big country, obviously, but it's a whole different world, man. It's not like you go to Thailand and you're like, this could be Oklahoma. I mean, clearly it's like, this is another fucking world out here.
Oh, yeah. It was, we were, say, about 3 hours north of Bangkok. So we got off the plane and then drove like 3 hours. And we was in this, like, about 20 minutes from this party place called Pattaya, which is like a party port.
Uh-huh.
With lots of naughty things going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we took a couple of trips up there, and they were definitely eye-opening. And we were like, holy shit, this shit goes on. And yeah, it was, I remember walking down the street, and they were just like grilling like baby squid, like octopus, and the fucking smell. I just threw up all over the place. It was just fucking stinking. But it was a real good experience. I love Thailand. I definitely go back and stuff, but I would have done the album differently if we could do it again,
Yeah. I don't know if you were able to have this. This is something that I had in Thailand. I don't believe I've ever talked about it on the podcast, but you can get coconut water from the source straight out of a coconut. They'll chop the top of coconut, and you could drink the coconut water out of it, coconut milk, whatever you want to call it. They do one in Thailand where they pull out a blowtorch and like toast it and then chop it, and then it's like toasted coconut milk. It's fucking delicious. I couldn't believe it when I had it there. It was so amazing.
Oh, awesome. No, I never had that, no.
If you go back, try to get yourself a toasted coconut and drink the water out of it. It's fucking awesome.
I will. It sounds awesome.
Oh, my God. What other place? I mean, obviously, it sounds like the Thailand trip was a wild one. Were there other places that y'all recorded any of those records that you remember and or sort of was an interesting experience for recording and or working with the producers that y'all worked with?
Every Bullet record was interesting because just the fact of we were just young wild kids and we were just wanting to get into as much trouble as possible. And the calmest record we probably ever did was Fever. We did that with Don Gilmore in Malibu.
Nice.
And we were like, where's the bars, where's the pubs? And they were like, well, there's not really any in Malibu. We were like, who the fuck chose the studio? we were like, we just want to go and have a beer. They were like, if you want to have a beer, you just go to the restaurant and have it with your meal. We were like, what? Food, eating's cheating.
Right, totally, man.
Yeah.
But y'all were recording y'all were on the beach at a studio in Malibu?
Up like more into the mountains. We say about 5-minute drive down the mountain, and then the beach was there.
Gotcha. It looks like y'all recorded in Texas for Scream Aim Fire.
Yeah, that was wild.
Where'd y'all go in Texas?
A studio called Sonic Ranch is in El Paso.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was like on this pecan farm right on the border, so there was like all border controls like every few hours past the studio, and we got into some trouble there.
Did y'all go into Mexico?
Matt did at one time. I was like, I'm not going in there.
Oh my God, boy! Talk about one way to really derail a record when one of your members gets detained in Mexico or something. Oh boy.
Yeah, it was like ATV quads or something, and then Jay was just smashed, so he was drinking and stuff, and then he was getting chased up the road by border control, and and he was getting pulled over. He said, "I'm just looking for mice or some shit."
Wow, man. When it came time for you to exit the band, what coincided with that time in your life? What was going on?
Oh, a lot. I do. Yeah, it was best for both parties that we'd go away from each other. I think.
Yeah.
I I don't think I was just into music anymore at that point.
Really?
I just because it was just record, tour, record, tour, record, which was good. But then I just always had this massive anxiety. My wife was pregnant with my daughter, our first child together, and I was halfway around the world all the time. We just got off the Slipknot tour, and then my tour manager hands me the laminate for the European tour, and it's like twice as long. I was just like, oh fuck.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was definitely time to go, I think.
I hear you. Yeah, I mean, balancing the second you start having kids and you're away from them and just all of the pressure that it puts, I don't know. Hopefully you've got family members that can assist in your absence and everything, but at some point just being gone that long and trying to balance that with having kids seems like I don't know. At a certain level, I guess you can do it, but I don't think I could. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, I mean, I would have gone back. I just needed a break. I just needed a long. I think the band needed a break, really.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think the band should have taken a big break after Fever. But the machine has to keep rolling at some point because everybody got to get paid.
Right. Who were some of the bands? I mean, you mentioned playing with, like touring with Slipknot. That's crazy. How was it touring with them? There's such a wild, ridiculous juggernaut on stage with so many people and everything. Was it wild, kind of touring with them?
It was awesome to watch. I mean, the whole production thing going up, and then
yeah,
they were just on it every, playing the best of their abilities every night. We watched them every night, obviously, Slipknot.
Yeah,
and they were just perfect every night.
No shit. Wow. Do you recall about what year that was that y'all did the Slipknot tour? I mean, I guess that was towards the end.
Yeah, so it would be
2015, 2016?
2015?
Yeah.
Or 16, yeah. 15 or 16. It was a summer tour.
Gotcha. Damn, man. Who else did y'all play with along the way that you were loved seeing live? Even if it was a one-off festival. Metallica?
Yeah, we got lucky enough. Metallica asked us to open when we released our first album.
Wow.
We got the invite. In one summer, we got invited to open for Guns N' Roses before they got back originally. So that was kind of cool.
Wow.
Then we went home and opened for Metallica in Europe. And then after that, we flew to North America and opened for Iron Maiden.
Damn, really?
Yeah, we were just like, holy shit.
Wow. Oh, man, I'm jealous you got to do the Iron Maiden thing. I mean, the Metallica, all of that is amazing. I've seen Iron Maiden a couple of times, the first time of which they were mostly celebrating like the Power Slave record, so they were playing tons of tracks off of Power Slave, and then all the older ones. And I mean, Bruce Dickinson is incredible. He was changing costumes, running all over the place, waving flags, jumping off stuff, singing his ass off. Steve Harris just playing the hell out of the bass, every note just ripping, all the guitar solos, guitar harmonies, everything, the production, Eddie coming out. Damn, dude. Yeah, Iron Maiden is killer live. I'm kind of jealous that you got to see that multiple times.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for what they do and how long they've been going.
Unbelievable.
I think they're getting better and better every year. Because I seen them last year on the last tour they did, and I was just like, they just keep getting better. Yeah. I haven't never seen them bad.
Right. That's unbelievable, man. Did you get to hang out with Niko at all? He seems like a pub-loving jokester, like just a fun guy to hang out with.
Yeah, he's awesome. And then after that tour, we was in Australia together, and then we was in the pub and he'd come over, just sit with us and buy us a beer and stuff. And then before the Slipknot tour, we was in West Palm Beach was the first show, and then he invited us down to his rib place, so we hung out there and went down to his restaurant and had some ribs, which was awesome.
Really? He has a rib restaurant?
Yeah, in Florida.
Niko does?
Yeah.
Weird. Does he live in Florida? No, he's in England, right?
No, he's Florida.
No shit.
Yeah.
That is funny, man. I can't imagine if I was just like down in Florida and I walk in, I'm like, I'm pretty sure, because that guy is very recognizable. That would be wild. I would love to have a beer with that guy. He's high up on the list. He seems like a cool dude.
Oh, he's awesome. He's really funny too.
Yeah, he seems like it.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Damn, man. Since y'all were a band in like the 2000s, I remember when Lars, speaking of Metallica, did like testified against Napster, and there was the whole like that whole issue. Did you have a sense of the business, quote unquote, like changing around that time with Napster and seemingly kind of the consolidation of radio stations that didn't play as much? They seemed to play a lot of the same songs, and I don't know, it was kind of a weird time. Do you recall like anything different about that time?
Only the fact of, so the first couple of albums physically was still selling quite well.
Right.
But someone did, like, I think it was someone from our label did, like, I think it was like LimeWire. I remember LimeWire.
Uh-huh.
And like the first album had been illegally downloaded like 30 million times or something.
Oh my God.
We were like, shit, if that was like a few years back, we'd be proper retired now.
Oh my God.
And so we were like, okay, but then you can't stop it. So many people are doing it. But then it was like a double-edged sword because of the internet. Right. Someone in Japan who never heard the band, who was talking to someone in America or Britain, knew the band straight away because they were getting recommended. So it was kind of a double-edged sword. It was good and bad at the same time, you know?
Right. From just access, from everyone having access and possibly knowing about something they might otherwise know, there was that kind of advantageous moment, and maybe you can capitalize on that when you tour. But yeah, from the physical record sales, perspective, I mean, and it's funny too because Lars got a lot of shit about that, and I mean, he's dubbed it the shitstorm that he created, and talking about copyright infringement, with what Napster was doing. But I think it's undeniable that he was right, at least in the form of physical sales, pre-streaming even, although that was the early streaming model, which was completely free, not even subscription based. That yeah, it might actually devalue physical music, and I think clearly it did.
Yeah, it definitely did. He was definitely right. And a lot of people were saying, oh, they should have backed him, really. There's a lot of people saying to back him, but no one was. Everyone was just too afraid. But I think the record labels as well had an opportunity by Steve Jobs from Apple. He said, like, look, I can protect it. There's a way of doing it with the MP3 or something. Mm-hmm. But you will have to give me X amount. And all the labels were like, no, but,
Oh, shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Apparently. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Right on. So I guess other than it sounds like y'all have the European tour coming up. The record's coming out from us talking in a few weeks. Anything else you're looking forward to coming up? Obviously, everything else. You got a good bit of stuff going on coming up in a few months.
Yeah, I mean, after the tour released, the album's released, we do that UK and European tour, then all eyes are set on North America for the band, because it makes sense. The label are there, they want to push us in America, and 80% of the band are American, so it makes sense to spend as much time as possible over there now.
Nice. Awesome, dude. Well, man, it was fun talking to you. Thanks for catching up. I appreciate the time. I'm glad the time zones worked out.
Yeah, man.
Best of luck on the record and the subsequent tours and everything else, man. Hope 2024 is a good year for you.
Cool, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. That does it for this episode. And, of course, thanks to Michael for catching up. I love a good accent, and he certainly has one. Crazy stories to boot as well. Gotta love it. We'll catch all around the bend. Crash, bang, boom.